Pay close attention to what we're doing. I'll be speaking with Dr. Ovidiu Peneș, a doctor of medical sciences, about things that simply cannot be postponed. Winter has passed and it has left us with all sorts of marks upon our faces. Once we take off our makeup and then we see that our faces are quite all right. We discover all kinds of signs that Ovidiu suggests could actually unmask certain underlying conditions.
Yes, the problem is that in winter we consume very poor quality food because fresh vegetables and fruits are not readily available. And those that are generally sprayed, injected and treated with all sorts of substances. So they don't grow naturally and don't possess the sufficient vitamins and minerals that our bodies truly need. And then, of course, it's good that you feel it. You notice you're catching colds very often. You notice that every little ailment seems to affect you and you no longer have the same resistance. But you start to feel that so-called spring asthenia. You feel tired, continuously exhausted, like you're sleepy, like you just want to sleep. Yes, everyone sleeps like this, especially around lunchtime, especially after you've had a meal and you find it increasingly difficult to focus. You can't keep up with your daily activities. Of course, what's truly behind this, because you've been consuming a rather unbalanced diet, is generally not a particularly serious medical condition, but instead a deficiency of certain vital vitamins and minerals within our body. Well, it's good to have some blood work done. You'll see, not even in Romania do they do many tests, just the routine ones. They don't check for vitamins and all the minerals in these extensive tests, so you can see exactly what to eat more of this year, what supplements your family doctor should prescribe. And for this, let's take a moment to see if our very own face, because as you know, the face is like a map, can sometimes reveal to us what crucial vitamins we might actually be lacking. For example, pale skin. You look in the mirror and it seems your skin, you know, it's a little bit paler. Certainly you probably haven't spent enough time out in the sun this spring, but it also has a kind of yellowish pale tint to it. This could be a sign that you might be deficient in vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is primarily responsible for, you know, we have certain cells that are crucial for transporting oxygen throughout our bodies, specifically those red blood cells. For these cells to properly form, to achieve their correct size, and to acquire their characteristic red color. And naturally, through the transparency of our skin, that healthy redness we see in our cheeks is also attributed to the presence of these very cells. Yes, for them to develop, they need B12. When B12 is missing, they start to break down. When the product inside them is destroyed, hemoglobin turns into bilirubin, and if that's not eliminated very quickly and properly by the kidneys, it starts to give a yellowish tint. So you're slightly pale, yellowish. Well, if it's truly confirmed that you have a vitamin B12 deficiency, you must start incorporating it, and now is the perfect time, especially in spring, to include plenty of fish and also to introduce animal organs, at least a small portion of liver, perhaps, just once a week. That's why we eat drop and all these other products typical for this spring season. Whole eggs and fresh seafood, yes, balance them and make sure you eat a small portion once a day.
I have a question. I read somewhere that vegans and raw vegans often have B12 deficiencies, which can be quite common. They are most at risk, and that this B12 is contained in some pills, which in turn as excipients contain cyanides.
Is that if you're vegan, be very careful, because I've heard that vegans take all kinds of supplements, but many of these supplements have formulas that contain vitamin B12 and a chemical component that can sometimes be toxic or simply not well tolerated by the body. Speak with your treating doctor and find out which B12 vitamin product, if you do have a very significant deficiency and require a supplement and not merely a balanced diet, see which one is in its natural form and not cyanide and so on. Other cobalamin formulas of this B12 are not as assimilable as a natural vitamin. Your eyes are swollen, so these things can also give you some clear indications. So you'll find your eyes are swollen, not just in the morning, but also in the evening, and your eyelids are puffy, with noticeable dark circles all around your eyes. this could be a clear sign that you are lacking iodine in your system. We know very well that iodine is essential and helps. Our thyroid gland, this important gland located right here at the base of your neck, requires iodine to produce essential thyroid hormones. And when iodine is lacking, your metabolism slows down, your skin becomes pasty, you get these swollen eyes, and you'll also experience other signs. You're constantly feeling tired, your skin is dry, your hair is breaking, you have difficulty concentrating, you can't even focus for half an hour, you can't manage to work if you have an office job, and your daily chores feel like a burden. You won't be able to lose weight even if you follow a diet, and by dieting, you'll actually lose even more of these crucial vitamins that your body requires. So you'll find yourself caught in a vicious circle. Get yourself checked, have your thyroid hormone levels tested, and begin to incorporate iodine into your body. You can easily find it, for instance, within walnuts. You'll also discover it in an entire assortment of various products. Salt, yes, specifically iodized salt, yes, of course. And walnuts. So don't miss the plain Romanian walnut, the simple one from the country. You'll find it in the market. Red meat, then avocado, then carrots. These are all very easy to find. Prepare a salad, and in each portion of this salad, which should contain all these fresh products that are currently available, make sure to add a few walnut kernels. You will then observe that this, combined with iodized salt, which is widely known to contain high-quality, easily assimilable iodine, can effectively assist a sluggish thyroid gland, thereby causing these troublesome symptoms to disappear.
For those who use only Himalayan salt, believing it's healthier is the answer correct?
No. So whenever you are using salt, it's not good to use salt in large amounts, to be adding salt to your food. We have already established this point. It's best to consume only the salt that is naturally present in the vegetables, the fruits, or the meat from the specific fish that we are eating. But truly, if you still find it necessary to salt today with one kind of salt, tomorrow with another kind, precisely to ensure you are very well balanced. Pale lips. If you have pale lips, then you most certainly cover them with something, with some kind of color, especially if you're a lady or a young woman. But these are a sign that you might be lacking iron. Iron is also very important for the proper production of our red blood cells. If you also experience a bit of fatigue, if you also feel a touch of nervousness or drowsiness associated with insomnia, these kinds of alternating states, then you should check yourself because you might be suffering from an iron deficiency. Now, iron can be found in a whole range of foods like various nuts, hazelnuts, and even broccoli. Yes, it's available again now. It's very affordable. Parsley. Yes. Dried fruits, for example, and then we're back to red meat and liver, which is why, we anticipate that those who choose to eat a vegan diet, meaning they consume only vegetables exclusively and completely avoid meat, they could potentially suffer from a B12 deficiency, and as a result, they might become more anemic, and their gums. If you notice that your gums bleed when you brush your teeth in the morning, or even at other times, this is another indication that you might be experiencing a vitamin C deficiency. Where vitamin C is very important in many processes, connective tissues, skin elasticity, protecting you from environmental factors, but it also plays a role in blood clotting. And if clotting doesn't work, it's because it relies on this missing vitamin C. Besides fatigue, sarcanje, pore wound healing, hair loss, and so on, your gums are bleeding too. So get checked right away to make sure there isn't another dental issue behind these bleeding gums, because you could have periodontitis or some kind of gum infection. But most often it's this vitamin C deficiency, especially in spring, include red foods, red bell pepper, all sorts of leafy greens like kale and bell peppers. Eat raspberries and citrus fruits. You can eat all these kinds of things raw because that's exactly how they should be. I don't recommend squeezing them because you'll lose the fibers that are very important. Hair is also a significant matter, and it concerns everyone, both women and men alike. It gets dry and starts to break, its quality deteriorates, and you will also lose it. If the deficiency of vitamins from the entire B complex, the one called biotin, is very, very significant. You very rarely consume biotin because you don't have a balanced diet, but you look and you see that every single morning the amount of hair you lose just keeps on growing. And when you visit the hairdresser periodically, your stylist will tell you that your hair is looking thinner, and then she'll give you all kinds of products, conditioners and hair masks, but that's not actually where the real solution is found. We need to investigate if you might be deficient in this specific biotin. And then it's a good time to start eating. Of course, if you've properly measured your intake and confirmed it precisely, but try to incorporate into your diet at least half an avocado every other day and all sorts of these wild berries. Blueberries are appearing now, and so are the strawberries. Yes, it's not good to use the greenhouse ones for the same reason, but strawberries are already starting to appear. And don't forget broccoli, a small handful. So a tightly clenched fist every day of almonds or cashews or peanuts or Romanian walnuts. The same goes for red meat. Don't forget that even a banana, just half a banana in the morning, can provide you with the required amount of these types of vitamins.
Springing helps us help ourselves, and Dr. Ovidio Bene, a doctor of medical science, helps us to be healthy, cheerful, and beautiful.